Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pope.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Pope. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
Good morning, Earthlings. Welcome back to First Contact Radio. How you doing today? It is the 27th of August, 27th of the month. We can see that we have a changing of what is going on with the signs. A changing of what is going on. Yesterday we were in Capricorn. We made a change from Capricorn to Pisces. To Aquarius. That change took place at 3:03 a.m. So as of 3:03 a.m., we are now in the moon sign of Aquarius and a sun sign of Capricorn. So we have water and we have earth. Water and earth. We know how water and earth can work together. You can have an island floating on the water. You can have an island that sinks under the water, and we certainly know that under the water there is the bottom of the lake or the ocean, which is earth that has been flooded by water. So we have water, which is emotions, and we have earth, which is the physical. So we have emotions and the physical. That's what we're dealing with. This is the card, as we know, the card represented Capricorn. This is the card that represents Aquarius. Has the female subconscious mind, the subconscious with one foot on the land, one on the water, finding balance between the earth and the emotions, finding and keeping the flow going. We have a pool right here, which is representative of our subconscious, what we do. The Hebrew letter assigned to this, Zadi, means fish hook. And the whole idea is our subconscious is a pool. We take a hook that represents our question or represents the line we're going to use, and we put onto the hook the question we're going to ask, and we throw it into the pool of our subconscious. And then we just wait. And then eventually it's a tug on the line, and we pull it up, and we've got the answer to the question. That's the process of meditation. That's what's going on here. This is what this is teaching us. We need to have meditation. When we go in, we find the inner strength, we find the inner wisdom, we find all that we need to know inside, which is teaching us what we need to know, because we're not being taught that on the outside. Okay? So, aspects we're looking at here. 10:44 a.m. Mercury is going to be going into Libra. So communication. And Libra is all about justice. So communication is looking to find some justice, some balance. Throughout the course of the day, we're just kind of moving along with that energy, looking for balance in our communication. And then tonight we have an opposition between Mars and the moon sign, which is Aquarius. So if we look for Mars, and we're going to look for Aquarius on the other side. Here's right here. Okay. Aquarius, the moon in Aquarius, opposite. There's Mars. Okay, oppositions are like being on a teeter-totter. You want to hope everyone is playing nice. The two elements that are involved, as you can see here, are the moon, Aquarius, and Mars, which is energy, life force energy. Can be used for positive, can be used for negative. It's just energy. And the emotions, the ideas, the thoughts, all leading towards what we know as that Aquarian ideal, looking toward the future. So there's futuristic ideas within there. The Jewish calendar. Today is 12 Elul. 12 Elul says as the last month of the Jewish year, Elul is traditionally a time of introspection and stock-taking, a time to renew one's deeds and spiritual progress over the past year and prepare for the upcoming days of awe of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. As the month of divine mercy and forgiveness, it is important time for return to God through prayer, charity, and increased love for the fellow man, fellow Jew, in the quest for self-improvement and coming closer to God. The Hasidic master, likens the month of Elul to a time when the king is in the field, and in contrast when he's in the royal palace. Everyone who so desires to permit to meet him, and he receives them all with cheerful continence. Okay, so the daily study. Original success. Before your soul descends into this world, it was determined she would succeed. If not in this lifetime, then another, or yet another. Eventually, she will fulfill her entire mission, and in each lifetime she will move further ahead. It was this knowledge that conceived her. It was this inspiration that brought the world to be. It is this vision of her success that lies at the essence of all things. Okay. Mayan Oracle, 3-tone day. The electric tone, tone of activation, electric tone of activation, world bridger, life and death, guide, the dog, love and loyalty. So the electric world bridger, guided by the dog. That's the name of the day. The white electric world bridger. White is the color of refinement. So we know that today is an energy about refining the process of what we're doing. Refining. We know that we're activating as well. I activate in order to equalize bonding opportunity. I seal the store of death with the electric tone of service. I am guided by the power of heart. I am a galactic activation portal. Enter me. Those are simply days, as we talked about, when the energy converges. 6 columns over from the left, 6 rows down. And we have the beginning of these 10 intense days in a row where we just need to be on our toes, because these are 10 galactic activation portal days, and these normally there's just one at a time. 2 times of the year there are 10 in a row, which we are right now. So we simply just want to proceed along, aware of the intense energy around us, operating in subtle ways. Moon phase for today is a waxing moon, 93% of the way there. This weekend we'll be at the full moon. Solar wind is currently at 350.3 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is 5, with the possibility of a 6 over the next 24 hours. This means that we are in the midst of a storm. This hole in the sun is really becoming quite the crack. A little bit more, and we're going to actually be breaking this sun in 2 pieces. Solar wind flowing from the indicated coronal hulk will reach to Earth August 28th, 29th. M-class flare possibility is dropped 5% from 60 to 55. X-class staying steady at 10. Geomagnetic storm activity is dropping as well. Mid-latitudes is going from 40 to 30. Higher latitudes from 65 down to 40. And up in the sky tonight, we got the moon has been looking awesome. If you get a chance to take a look at it, the bright moon after dark shines just above the dim boat shape of Capricornicus. How much of it can you see through the glare? Look above fist to the moon's right for dim Alpha Capricorni, a double star that's just resolvable through the naked eye. Binoculars show Alpha as twins beautifully. About half a binocular field below the lower left of Alpha is a Beta Cap. Okay, and there you have it. That is the cosmic weather for today, which brings us to UFO news.
This is the UFO news. with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. First sighting today comes to us from the sun near, this is a SOHO image, the observatory of the sun. Here's our object in question. Okay. NASA link. As always, UFO is caught by Street Cap. One of YouTube shows a spaceship that has a lot of similarities to the old Atlas rocket. However, the bright spot may be just a reflection of sunlight, and the other two lines could mean that there is a 30-armed ship. Difficult to say for sure in this one. She's going to stick my neck out here and say that does look awfully like some sort of spacecraft a few miles off from the SOHO satellite. Please stop thinking they are near the sun. If that was the case, you would not see them. Okay. Onward. Next story. 2 UFOs near the space station. Light on so big it lights up the entire ISS. Alright, so let's take a look at what we've got here. The UFO. There's another one there. You can see the bright lights, and then you can see the light off of the ISS because of the brightness. Later on, the UFO is seen during something strange happens. The space station begins to glow with a black light off of it. Then I thought maybe the UFO was very close, lighting up both the small UFO and the ISS at the same time. My feelings were confirmed when glowing blue and purple lights from above began shining down on the space station, a very large UFO causing the space station to light up. I caught over 19 minutes, so you know it's real. And here is 19 minutes of some activity taking place up at the space station, if up is where they truly are. Okay, I'm just going to move along here. As I said, it's a 19-minute video. You can see here it starts to get lit up. Somewhere around here. Let's see if we can catch it right at the moment when the light... Nope, it just jumps right to it. Okay. Next is the military, the cause of the UFO lights over El Paso, Texas. El Paso, Texas, flashing lights near Fort Bliss sparked curiosity among Northeast residents Tuesday night. A Fort Bliss spokesperson said the aviation artillery units were training in the area Tuesday night. Trainings are conducted during the hours of limited visibility using flares, visible laser aiming devices, and other equipment could contribute to strange sightings of the untrained observer, says Colonel Craig Childs with Fort Bliss. Childs said the units were firing illumination rounds, which hover in the air for several minutes. Illumination rounds, I gotcha. Okay, that's it. Illumination rounds, nothing to see here. Move on. 50 years ago, this September, UFOs came to Exeter. They haven't left. The history of unidentified flying object in the skies of New Hampshire is long, varied, and weird. It includes 2 highly celebrated cases that caught the popular imagination and served as harbingers of hundreds of encounters occurring for decades across the globe. New Hampshire sightings have attracted the attention of journalists, true believers, skeptics, school children, movie producers, and conspiracy theorists. They've even inspired an annual festival in Exeter that brings together some of the big names in the field of UFO studies. I've certainly been influenced by Granite State UFOs. I've seen one myself. It was a clear summer night in the early 80s. I was hanging out with 2 friends, Ken and Tom, at Odium State Park in Rye, when one of them pointed to a bright white light over the bathhouse. It seemed like nothing more than a beacon to keep at nighttime visitors from stubbing their toes, and then it suddenly dimmed. Then slowly, silently, in a fashion unlike any kind of vehicle I'd ever seen, it rose high above the bathhouse and danced in strange patterns. Then it turned, flew higher, and headed out to sea and out of sight. From the dinner room restaurant back in Portsmouth, Ken called Pease Air Force Base and reported what we had seen. The person on the telephone took the information, said someone would be back in touch if they had questions. Nobody ever made any further inquiries. As sightings go, mine was not outstanding, nor was it frightening, merely weird and mysterious. It's definitely a UFO, literally a flying object we could not identify. All right, more to the story. Go and read that. Links available. NASA brings scientists and theologians together to prepare for world extraterrestrial contact. A couple months ago, top UFO astronomers gathered in front of Congress to let them know what extraterrestrial life exists without question. Their main argument was the size of the universe, emphasizing that there are trillions of stars out there, with 1 in every 5 most likely harboring an Earth-like planet. It is important to keep in mind that planets do have to be Earth-like in order to harbor life. You can read about that story here. This time, NASA and the Library of Congress had teamed up, bringing together scientists, theologians, philosophers, and historians from around the globe for a 2-day symposium in order to discuss how to prepare the world for extraterrestrial contact, whether it be microbial organisms or intelligent beings. One of the theologians present was Brother Guy Cosmologmagno, who is the new president of the Vatican Observatory Foundation. This is what he had to say. I believe when life exists, but I have no evidence. I would really be excited, and it would make my understanding of my religion deeper and richer in many ways that I can't even predict yet, which is why it would be so exciting. He's urging the public not to be so surprised when extraterrestrial life is discovered, because it will be discovered. He said that he would be happy to baptize them if intelligent extraterrestrial life that's discovered. The Vatican has been very open to the idea of intelligent extraterrestrial life, and they've expressed these views for a very long time. Okay, wow. So extraterrestrial is going to come all this way, and he's going to baptize them. Well, that's very kind of him. Very kind of him, believing that they might need such thing. Okay, and one last piece. This isn't really a UFO story as much as it is UFO entertainment for you to check out. Fan-made pilot of a new Star Trek series called Renegades has been released. I know this is off topic, but I know it is important to a lot of viewers, so it's going up. This is the best news I've heard all month. A fan-made series has begun to include some of the big stars from each of the old Star Trek series. Nobody can argue that Star Trek hasn't shaped today in many ways, as well as being helpful to see what we may be able to become one day, hundreds of years into the future. I know this is somewhat similar to what is out there, so here's the full episode below. Grab a sandwich, a beer, or whatever your drink of preference is. Kick back. I know I did. All right, here's a link here. 1 hour, 26 minutes. Check it out. And there you have it. So, some little entertainment. Star Trek fan Renegade series, or fan series called Renegade. They're based on Renegades. All right? All right, there you have it. That is UFO news. Today, I'm going to jump away to... Let's try this one today. All right, this is confirm or deny.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Underground is where they live. In the bases that are secretive. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives? Plausible deniability. That's their answer to all we think we see. So pay attention, read between the lines. Changes are happening, revealing lies. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lies? Underground where they live, in the bases that are secretive. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lies? I can neither confirm or deny. They can neither confirm or deny. It's time for them, confirm or deny. No more secret lies. I don't know about you, but I can't stand it anymore. I know what I saw. You know what you saw. Stand up for yourself. Think for yourself. The truth is out there. No more lies. No more lies. No more lies.
No more lies. No more lies. All right. What do you think? Think we'll get there, Mickey? Think we'll get there? Any lies? No more lies? I don't know. Speaking of lies, the mainstream media, they fit right in with the whole lying agenda, don't they? Every single day we turn on the television around the country, around the world, and every day people watch these personalities come into their homes. They're not reporters, they're commentators. They commentate on what they are seeing. That is how they're getting away with it. They're not presenting you with real news. Throughout the course of the time, through the years, we have seen many stories that when they have been shown, we instantly believed and got caught up in the emotionality of the stories. Whether it's a stories of racism, or whether it's a stories of murder, whether it's a story of government corruption, we all get caught up in the emotions of what's going on because the media presents things in a way to create and cause emotions. They stir up these emotions in you in order that you and me and everyone who watches their programming will react. But we don't have to react in the way because we don't have to have our buttons pushed. In 2012, we are told through the media stories over and over and over again that there was a shooting that took place at Sandy Hook. Yet, when the FBI report came out about 2012, one of the things that was left off were the murders in Sandy Hook. And when the FBI was questioned why and how they could leave that off of their charts and make such statements that there weren't any violent murders that took place in Sandy Hook in Newtown, Connecticut, it really fed into the idea that perhaps this was a staged event, as so many have said it was. Perhaps we've been fooled. Would the media really do something like this? Absolutely. They've been caught faking news stories all the time. It's sad when an event happens where we're supposed to and our emotions are tugged at, and then you watch the news reports, and it's very confusing when you have a parent of a child that was supposedly just murdered, and that parent comes on and then pretends to cry and then instantly goes and begins spouting off gun legislation agendas. It's very hard for me to look at that and not say something about that is fake, because that father of that child that was just murdered would not be in that state of mind. And I've seen it over and over where it's almost becoming the norm, where we're becoming to accept that this is the way it is. And that's not the way it is. That's the way the media is. Too many times stories have been shown on the media and they're false stories, acting that was done on camera for the benefit of the viewer to give you some sort of sensationalism, because otherwise there might not be enough for you to get through the day. So stories are sensationalized. Actors are hired and paid, and then they go off and live their lives in other ways, in whichever their arrangements were beforehand. Most people just turn a blind eye thinking, oh, this could never happen. I just simply remind you, 33 times. There's an article that I've read. You can find the link at the firstcontactradio.com site. 33 times that there has been a conspiracy theory that instantly after the event happened, conspiracy theorists came out and said, this is what's really going on. And debunkers came out 33 times and said, no, you were wrong. And now history has shown us that all 33 of those times were actually, like the conspiracy theorists said, 33 times Americans were fooled. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 33 times. So how many more times are you Americans going to turn on the television, watch what's going on, and believe hook, line, and sinker what they're telling you is the truth? That's not their objective. It's not what they do. It's sad to say, and it's very bizarre to be in a world where we have to question such things, but we need to question such things, and we need to use our discerning sense. Go back and watch the interviews of these families and these people who have been murdered, and you watch the reactions of their family members, and you tell me if those are the reactions of somebody that just lost somebody. Watch that. There was an interview last night Megyn Kelly did with the father and the fiance of this reporter that was shot. Well, neither one of them cried, and they both had to talk about the gun control agenda. And when you look at them, if you would turn the volume off and just watch this, just so you could see reactions and emotions, one of the strange things that come to mind as you watch them is you realize that neither one of these two people up there lost anybody. They don't look like they lost anybody in their life. There's no look of loss, and we all know that look. So we have to stop pretending that we don't, and we have to be able to look at the media and understand that they are lying. Donald Trump is calling out the media. That's why they are running scared. They're lying. They're lying, and we have to be smarter and not get caught up in their lies. Remember, 33 times Americans have been fooled, because 33 times an event happened, and 33 times Americans said, oh no, that didn't happen, and 33 times Americans were wrong. Well, if you had a test and you got 33 answers wrong out of 100, that means you failed. It means you only get a 66%. So what's that going to be, a D? F? Not very good. You got to get smarter. The only way we're going to get smarter is if we learn to think for ourselves, which is why on this show I try to bring us back to understanding and look at the ways that we think for ourselves, the way we use the energy around us, because that is what is important. Because those who are manipulating the media are ultimately trying to manipulate your mind, your thought process. And because this universe is a mind, the all is the mind is the all. Because of that situation, all one needs to do is go and manipulate the mind, and all those who are weak-minded individuals will fall in line with the manipulation. It happens over and over and over and over again. Okay? So, enough said of that. You know where I stand. The Krybalion. Let's take a quick review of what we looked at so far. The principle of mentalism. We live in a mental universe, one giant mind. All aspects of this mind, according to the second principle of correspondence, correspond to each other. That means the largest part of the mind corresponds to the smallest part of the mind. The part of the mind that is closest to us corresponds to the part of the mind that is furthest away, and everything in between. The third principle, which we're going to go over today, is the principle of vibration, that everything moves, everything vibrates. Next principle is the principle of polarity, that it vibrates back and forth between two poles. And it does so according to the principle of rhythm. And with this rhythm, there are cause and there are effects. And the causes create effects, and from the effects come other causes. And all of these operate together under the principle of gender, which is the masculine and feminine spark working back and forth with each other in order to create more. Okay? So that is the brief summary. Here's the chapter on vibration, chapter 9. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. The Krybalion. The third great Hermetic principle, the principle of vibration, embodies the truth that motion is manifest in everything in the universe, that nothing is at rest, that everything moves, vibrates, and circles. This Hermetic principle was recognized by some of the early Greek philosophers who embodied it in their systems, but then for centuries it was lost sight of by the thinkers outside of the Hermetic ranks. But in the 19th century, physical science rediscovered the truth, and the 20th century scientific discoveries have added additional proof of the correctness and truth of this centuries-old Hermetic doctrine. The Hermetic teachings are not only that not only is everything in constant movement and vibration, but that the differences between the various manifestations of the universal power are due entirely to the varying rate and mode of the vibrations. Not only this, but that even the all in itself manifests a constant vibration of such an infinite degree of intensity and rapid motion that it may be practically considered as at rest, the teachers directing the attention of the students to the fact that even on the physical plane, a rapidly moving object, such as a revolving wheel, seems to be at rest. The teachings are to the effect that spirit is at one end of the pole of vibration, the other pole being certain extreme gross forms of matter. Between these two poles are millions upon millions of different rates and modes of vibration. Modern science has proven that all that we call matter and energy are but modes of vibratory motion, and some of the more advanced scientists are rapidly moving towards the positions of the occultists who hold that the phenomena of mind are likewise modes of vibration or motion. Let us see what science has to say regarding the question of vibration in matter and energy. In the first place, science teaches that all matter manifests in some degree, the vibrations arising from temperature or heat, be an object cold or hot, both being but degrees of the same thing. It manifests certain heat vibrations, and in that sense is in motion and vibration. Then all particles of matter are in circular movement from corpuscle to suns. The planets revolve around suns, and many of them turn on their axes. The suns move around great central points, and these are believed to move around still greater, and so on ad infinitum. The molecules of what the particular kinds of matter are comprised of are in a state of constant vibration and movement around each other and against each other. The molecules are composed of atoms, which, likewise, are in a state of constant movement and vibration. The atoms are comprised of corpuscles, sometimes called electrons, ions, etc., which are also in a state of rapid motion, revolving around each other, and which manifest a very rapid state of mode of vibration. And so we see that all forms of matter manifest vibration in accordance with the Hermetic principle of vibration. And so it is with the various forms of energy. Science teaches that light, heat, magnetism, and electricity are but forms of vibratory motion connected in some way with and probably emanating from the ether. Science does not yet attempt to explain the nature of the phenomena known as cohesion, which is the principle of molecular attraction, nor chemical affinity, which is the principle of atomic attraction, nor gravitation, the greatest mystery of the three, which is the principle of attraction, by which every particle or mass of matter is bound to every other particle or mass. These three forms of energy are not as yet understood by science, yet the writers incline to the opinion that these two are manifestations of some form of vibratory energy, a fact which the Hermeticists have held and taught for ages past. The universal ether, which is postulated by science without its nature being understood clearly, is held by the Hermeticists to be but a higher manifestation of that which is erroneously called matter. That is to say, matter at a higher degree of vibration, and is called by them the ethereal substance. The Hermetists teach that this ethereal substance is of extreme tenuity and elasticity and pervades universal space, serving as a medium of transmission of waves of vibratory energy such as heat, light, electricity, magnetism, etc. The teachings are that the ethereal substance is a connecting link between the forms of vibratory energy known as matter on the one hand and energy or force on the other, and also that it manifests a degree of vibration in rate and mode entirely its own. Scientists have offered the illustration of a rapidly moving wheel, top, or cylinder to show the effects of increasing rates of vibration. The illustration supposes a wheel, top, or revolving cylinder running at a low rate of speed. We will call this revolving thing the object in following out the illustration. Let us suppose that the object moving slowly, it may be seen readily, but no sound of its movement reaches the ear. The speed is gradually increased. In a few moments, its movement becomes so rapid that the deep growl or low note may be heard. Then, as the rate is increased, the note rises on the musical scale. Then, the motion being still further increased, the highest note is distinguished. Then, one after another, all the notes of the musical scale appear, rising higher and higher as the motion is increased. Finally, when the motions have reached a certain rate, the final note perceptible to human ears is reached, and the shrill, piercing shriek dies away and silence follows. No sound is heard from the revolving object, the rate of motion being so high that the human ear cannot register the vibrations. Then comes the perception of the rising degrees of heat. Then, after quite a time, the eye catches a glimpse of the object becoming a dull, dark, reddish color. As the rate increases, the red becomes brighter. Then, as the speed is increased, the red melts into an orange, and the orange melts into yellow. Then follow successively the shades of green, blue, indigo, and finally violet as the rate of speed increases. Then the violet shades away and all the color disappears, the human eye not being able to register them, but they are invisible rays emanating from the revolving object, the rays that are used in photographing and other subtle rays of light. Then began to manifest the particular rays known as X-rays, etc., as the constitution of the object changes. Electricity and magnetism are emitted when appropriate rate of vibration is attained. When the object reaches a certain rate of vibration, its molecules disintegrate and resolve themselves into the original elements or atoms. Then the atoms, following the principle of vibration, are separated into the countless corpuscles of which are composed. And finally, even the corpuscles disappear, and the object may be said to be composed of the ethereal substance. Science does not dare to follow the illustration further, but the Hermeticists teach us that if the vibration be continually increased, the object would mount up the successive states of manifestation and would in turn manifest the various mental stages and then spiritward, until it would finally re-enter the all, which is absolute spirit. The object, however, would have ceased to be an object long before the stage of ethereal substance was reached, but otherwise the illustration is correct inasmuch as it shows the effect of the constantly increased rates and modes of vibration. It must be remembered in the above illustration that at the stages at which the object throws off vibrations of light, heat, etc., it is not actually resolved into those forms of energy, but simply that it reaches a degree of vibration in which those forms of energy are liberated in a degree from the confining influence of the molecules, atoms, and corpuscles, as the case may be. These forms of energy, although much higher on the scale than matter, are imprisoned and confined in the material combinations by reason of the energies manifesting through and using material forms, but thus becoming entangled and confined in their creations of material forms, which to an extent is true of all creations, the creating force becoming involved in its creation. But the Hermetic teachings go on much further than those of the modern science. They teach that all manifestation of thought, emotion, reason, will, or desire, or any other mental state or condition are accompanied by vibrations, a portion of which are thrown off and which tend to affect the minds of other persons by induction. This is the principle which produces the phenomena of telepathy, mental influence, and other forms of the action and the power of mind over mind, with which the general public is rapidly becoming acquainted, owing to the wide dissemination of occult knowledge by the various schools, cults, and teachers along these lines at the time. Every thought, emotion, or mental state has its corresponding rate and mode of vibration, and by effort of the will of the person or of other persons, These mental states may be reproduced just as a musical tone may be reproduced by causing an instrument to vibrate at a certain rate, just as color may be produced in the same way. By a knowledge of the principle of vibration as applied to mental phenomena, one may polarize his mind at any degree he wishes, thus gaining a perfect control over his mental states, moods, etc. In this way he may affect the minds of others, producing the desired mental states in them. In short, he may be able to produce on the mental plane that which science produces on the physical plane, namely vibrations at will. This power, of course, may be acquired only by the proper instruction. Exercises, practice, etc., the science being that of mental transmutation, one of the branches of the Hermetic art. A little reflection on what we have said will show you, the student, that the principle of vibration underlies the wonderful phenomena of the power manifested by the masters and the adepts, who are able to apparently set aside the laws of nature, but who in reality are simply using one law against another, one principle against another, and who accomplish the results by changing the vibrations of material objects or forms of energy, and thus perform what are commonly called miracles. As one of the old Hermetic writers has truly said, he who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the scepter of power. Okay, the principle of vibration. Everything moves. Everything is moving in a great dance. Okay, so we have a mind that corresponds to every other aspect of itself, and every bit of this mind vibrates, and that's what we know thus far. And those vibrations happen in poles, a rhythm occurs, effects and causes come off of the rhythms, and we then have the opportunity to understand the workings of the gender, male and female, the charges of energy as they interact with each other. Okay? There you have it. Here's an article from In5D. Now, we've heard a lot about the upcoming month of September. This article addresses many of these possible changes. It says September 2015, Deception, False Light, and Our Collective Evolution, by Simon Vorster. There is much speculation and anticipation about September 2015. Much of us has been researching and trying to understand the potential outcomes of events such as the coming blood moon tetrad, the reactivation of CERN, the UN General Assembly in Operation Jade Helm 15, while others are predicting everything from false flags to the realization of French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius' 100 days to climate change chaos prediction, from the prophesied end of days cataclysm to the biblical judgment day. What is really going on here? On an energetic level, this is the time of unprecedented change. We are standing in the point of our collective evolution in space-time, at which our life on Earth and the paradigm through which we are experiencing them are radically shifting. In relation to the cycles of our solar system's planetary movements, important astrological aspects of the last 5 cycles are now completing at once, reflecting powerful completion on a very deep and complex level, and as a result we will be seeing a dramatic shift in our collective consciousness taking place. On the surface, the nature of these evolutionary shifts can be seen incredibly bizarre, so we would like to share some understanding in the hopes of offering some practical solutions and guidance on how to navigate your way in the profound times in our cosmic evolution. The intention of this article is not to tell you what the truth is or what to believe, but to share some deep universal knowledge that will help to strengthen your intuition and empower your soul to know and recognize the true agenda behind information and events that you encounter, and to stimulate the expansion of your individual consciousness. Try to stay open-minded as you read and allow yourself to feel how this information resonates within you. Natural law. In accordance with the new emerging paradigm, we would like to share some thoughts around the 3 main principles that help cultivate a grounded understanding and awareness of this universe we live in. Natural law of impermanence and liberation. The natural law of impermanence reflects the natural cycles of change. Everything has a beginning that eventually leads to an end. Many of us have come to truly understand this principle over the last 2.5 years, amplified by the transit of Saturn through Scorpio. Spiritually, this law teaches us to value our moments here on Earth and the preciousness of the impermanent levels with all the emotions that accompany our experience of change. It also shows us that our connection to everything as we are born from and ultimately pass on to is the same place. Next is the natural law of involution and evolution. In this dense material plane, it can be very hard work to align ourselves with the law of involution and evolution, which brings about the natural timing of life metamorphosis. To create a grounded perspective here, it is important to see that we are evolving and experiencing in cycles, and even though we would like to experience instantly involved in a linear fashion, this would be simply impossible. It would create total insanity. Involution and evolution works in this way. Source, us, is a journey of learning. In the journey we are experiencing expansion and contraction, similar to the breath of inhalation and exhalation. When we experience creation as the source of all things, we learn through expanding and exploring. Then at some point we begin the journey of contraction and turning inward and returning home. This is actually a deconstructive process which leads to new opportunities. Thus the cycles of creation, evolution, and contraction, involution represent the natural law of our cyclical journey. We are currently moving through the stage of involution, deconstructing our reality as we return home. This can be seen all around. And the third is the law of karmic return. This brings us to the awareness of how we direct our motion of energy. This law reveals to us the nature of cause and effect, and that if we act out of balance, we will be shown the opposite effect. Currently amplified by Pluto in Capricorn, which is from 2008 to 2023, our reality is revealing to us how our past actions have brought us to the current state of this planet. It is so important to see that on a very deep level, this is a very dark place, far from home, so our collective journey back home cannot be done easily or overnight. It will go on for many years. Our purpose right now, individually and then collectively, is to actively participate in clearing our karma by spending time seeking out aspects of ourselves that cause discord and disempowerment, healing them, and then bringing our knowledge and insight into the world in a way that helps to raise and heal the collective consciousness. As we embark on this amazing path of self-empowered awakening, it helps to take into consideration that our sleep state aids our awakening state, that our current awakening could not happen if it not were for our slumber. Through the law of impermanence and the law of involution, evolution, we have become aware of our karmic story as a collective and our own individual stories. This awareness is leading us to deeper into our authentic connection into Source and the emotional sensitivity of unity, empathy, forgiveness, and acceptance. All right, there's a lot more to this article. So I'm going to leave this for you so you can read this. I will talk more about it tomorrow after you've had a chance to read through it. Lots of changes going on, my friends. Lots of changes. We just need to be aware. It's all about participating, using our gifts. And one of the gifts is the gift of discernment, to tell the truth between right and wrong, good and bad, a lie and the truth. Something that we have lost sight of or we've put aside in order to be able to make the compromises we make down here on earth. And now we see the error of our ways in doing so. Here is a message from Anna Merkaba. This is a message.
Anna Merkaba, SIRIUS, urgent message to ground crew.
August 24th, 2015, by Anna Merkaba.
Greetings everyone. Before I begin this channeling, I would like to add a personal note. I want you to know that you are amazing, beautiful, breathtakingly exquisite beings of light and love. I want you to know that you are all loved beyond measure and that all of you are incredibly brave souls to have come onto this planet and share your light with all inhabitants of Gaia. I want you to know that you are manifesting miracles onto this plane of existence, and that if it wasn't for you, none of this would ever be possible. I want you to know that right now is an incredible time of manifestation and transcendence into another reality. And above all, I want you to remember that you are incredibly powerful celestial beings of love who can, and do create your own reality, who can change your reality at any given moment in time should you choose to do so. I want you to understand this and ingrain it into your psyche and allow this knowing to permeate your whole being, reach all the way down to your subconscious and align your thinking patterns to the new frequency of abundance, creativity, health, benevolence, and creation. I love you. Now, having said this, here is the channeling I have received from SIRIUS.
The centrifugal force of the Earth's gravitation pull, and the Earth axis through the wobble polarities of the Sun's magnetic force and the Earth's gravitational pull are aligning into position. Within said pull and flip of polarities, the transfiguration of mathematical ideals shall arise within the psyche of your scientist, in order to reconstruct the understanding of the workings of the universe and the very planet on which you reside. For the gravitational pull which you are experiencing is changing rapidly for you now, thus causing your vehicles of choice to vibrate on higher frequencies, which translates into a fleeting feeling of butterflies in your stomach, heart palpitations, and a general feeling of floating just a few feet above ground and a feeling of disconnection with your vehicles. For in truth the identities which you hold dear to your hearts, the identities which you have acquired, are rapidly falling away, peeling away to reveal the true nature of your being. And so and thus the same is occurring with your Earth, for the planet on which you reside is converting into a new cognitive reality, is changing, morphing and transgressing the frequencies and taking a giant leap into a new time and space continuum from which she can continue to evolve. And hence, fleeting feelings of loss and disconnectedness and emptiness, are but a natural phenomenon experienced by many on your planet. For indeed it is so that you are losing your identities and are being forced to acknowledge that which indeed you are. Comprehending a new identity and the distortion of your familiar reality is causing massive upheavals to occur on your planet yet again, massive upheavals, for the inner and outer realities are clashing daily for you now, whereby your inner reality is no longer associating with the outer illusionary world. And as Gaia raises her vibration as she ascends higher and higher, her own transformation is propelling the transformation of all beings living on Gaia, and vice versa. What we are trying to say to you, dearly beloveds, is that the centrifugal force within the Earth and the centrifugal force within your own vehicles are presently at odds for many of you, and hence great balancing act is required on your parts in order to stabilize the energies which are affecting you from within and without. And hence it is of utmost importance to find the balance within by releasing the programming of yesteryear, and acquiring a new vibratory system to continue thriving on this planet. And as such, those of you who have come onto this planet to anchor said light, to anchor said transformation, shall find yourselves quite busy indeed, for as the massive awakening continues to be in effect, it is you who shall guide the lost souls and assist them in acquiring a new understanding and benevolent adherence to the new reality, which your Earth and all residing therein are swiftly moving towards. And so and thus, we ask you to stay alert to the rapid changes coming your way, to stay grounded in your ideals, to stay grounded in the knowing that is within your very hearts, to coherently lay out the way for those who are lost and help them return home to their true selves. We ask that you remain stable and continue holding the high vibrations that indeed you are capable of. That is all that we have for you now. We love you. We are with you. Goodbye for now.
All right, good message. Very nice message. All right, so takes us to the Warrior of Light today. Our reading today, we're on page 94, the Warrior of the Light. The experienced fighter puts up with insults. He knows the strength of his fist and the skills of his blows. Confronted by an unprepared opponent, he looks deep into his eyes and conquers him without ever having to resort to a physical fight. As the warrior learns from his spiritual master, the light of faith shines in his eyes, and he does not need to prove anything to anyone. He is not bothered by his opponent's aggressive arguments, which says that God is a superstition, that miracles are just tricks, that believing in angels is running away from reality. Like the fighter, the warrior of the light is aware of his own immense strength. He never fights with anyone who does not deserve the honor of combat. It's a very important line. He never fights with anyone who does not deserve the honor of combat. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. I want you just to imagine that you're looking out over the world. And you're seeing life in the world. And all the energy of the life in the world. And as you do, you notice the vibrations. You notice that everything around you is moving. Nothing stays still. And even if it appears to stay still, it is moving so fast that our eyes do not perceive the movement. So we move through the world aware that everything is moving. Everything is in synchronicity with everything else energetically, and we are the ones who need to get in synchronicity with the energy around us. So as we open our chakras from the bottom of the spine up, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, as we open our chakras and allow the energy to flow through us freely from above and below, we feel the connection to all the energy around us. And we understand the first process of change is awareness. We must be aware of what is currently taking place so that we can change it. And then we get a mental picture of the thing we want to change. We apply emotion to it and allow that to go out into the world to make the change and adjustments we need. So let's continue to make changes by looking at the vibrations of life, the vibrations and the energies, so that we know what we are dealing with. Let the subconscious mind continue on the journey, looking at all of the energy moving, and let the conscious mind come back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. And that's it, my friends. That's the show for today. Thank you very much. Tomorrow we shall continue on with the Krybalion. We are at chapter 9 today. Or chapter 9 tomorrow, 10 tomorrow, one of the two. Either way, just show up. We'll be on to the next chapter, which is the chapter we did vibration today. So tomorrow is polarity. All right, tomorrow's polarity. That's it. Have an awesome day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I love you. Keep loving each other. Peace. I'm out of here.